I never imagined a simple weekly grocery drop-off could spiral into an actual police report. But when you live in Pinecrest Meadows and Barbara Simmons reigns as HOA president, the impossible becomes routine for the uninitiated. HOA means Homeowners Association everywhere else. In Barbara's world, it means her own autocracy. 3 weeks earlier, I'd had major back surgery. The surgeon's orders were absolute. Nothing heavier than a coffee cup for 6 weeks minimum. Since I live alone, online grocery delivery turned from convenience into survival. Every Wednesday morning, the driver left everything in neat rows by my front door. And whenever the pain allowed, I'd shuffle out and carry in one lightweight item at a time. Sometimes, stretching the process across an entire day. Tuesday night, a purple-inked notice appeared under my door. Violation. Unsightly accumulation of packages and bags on the front porch. Fine, $50. Barbara had signed it in her trademark violet gel pen, with HOA president printed twice the size of her own name. I phoned her right away, expecting at least a shred of human compassion. "Rules are rules," she answered in that syrupy, patronizing drawl she'd perfected over her 4-year dictatorship. The bylaws are crystal clear. Porches must remain free of clutter to protect property values. Medical conditions do not grant exemptions from community standards. Explained bags never stayed outside longer than a few hours while I brought them in gradually. She suggested I either recruit a neighbor or place smaller. More frequent orders ideas that completely ignored my fixed income and the fact that I could barely walk. I paid the $50 and prayed that it would satisfy her. Next Wednesday, my phone buzzed at 10:32 a.m. "Your delivery is complete." I eased myself downstairs, clinging to the banister with every painful step. 15 minutes later, I opened the front door. Nothing, not one bag. I pulled up the delivery app's photo proof. 12 bags lined up perfectly on my mat. House number plainly visible. Porch theft. I thought until I checked the doorbell camera and noticed at 10:45 a.m. Barbara's gleaming silver Mercedes glided into my driveway. Out stepped Her Majesty in the navy blazer. Nobody voted for gold-embroidered Pinecrest Meadows crest blazing on the chest. She paused theatrically, hands on her hips, scanning my groceries like a health inspector finding rats. Then, with the calm precision of someone who'd rehearsed this, she popped her trunk and folded a collapsible utility cart and loaded every single one of my 12 bags. She wheeled the whole haul down the sidewalk to her own house, 3 doors away. I watched the footage 3 times just to convince myself it was real, hands trembling. I called her, "Barbara, my doorbell camera just recorded you taking my entire grocery order. I need it returned right now." Brief silence. Then the smug, bureaucratic lilt I'd come to despise. As I've explained repeatedly, your ongoing porch violations cannot be tolerated. The covenants explicitly authorize the association to remove unsightly items from public view. 12 bags constitute an egregious eyesore, affecting the entire neighborhood's curb appeal. Those are my groceries, Barbara. Milk, eggs, meat, perishables I need to eat this week. This isn't covenant enforcement. It's theft. She exhaled theatrically as if I were a toddler throwing a tantrum. I am merely upholding the standards every resident agreed to upon purchase of their home. If you're incapable of managing deliveries without degrading our community's appearance, perhaps Pinecrest Meadows isn't the proper fit for you. Click. She hung up. I sat frozen for several seconds, pulse pounding in my ears. Then I dialed the non-emergency police number. The dispatcher heard me out patiently as I described the whole ordeal, and I forwarded the doorbell video to their email right there on the line. They promised an officer would be dispatched shortly to look into it. While I waited, I opened the neighborhood Facebook group. Barbara had wasted no time posting her own spin on the morning's events. Friendly reminder to residents, per bylaw 4.13. Excessive deliveries left unattended on porches will be removed to preserve community aesthetics. Unfortunately, one homeowner continues to abuse delivery services, leaving large accumulations of packages that lower curb appeal and property values for everyone. The comments started rolling in immediately. A few neighbors asked for clarification. Others voiced support without questioning. Several people requested the exact wording of Bylaw 4.13. Barbara never provided it because it didn't exist. The actual covenants only required exteriors to be kept neat and orderly, with zero mention of groceries, deliveries, or time limits on porch items. 2 hours later, Officers Mitchell and Davis knocked on my door. I walked them through everything: the delivery confirmation photo, the doorbell footage, my recent surgery, and my inability to haul bags inside quickly. They watched the video in silence, jotting notes, then asked if I wished to press charges. "Absolutely," I said. They nodded, thanked me, and headed straight to Barbara's house. From my upstairs bedroom window, I had a perfect view. Barbara answered the door with her practiced politician smile, handshake ready. The smile faded fast. Her arms started moving in big circles, pointing repeatedly at my house, head shaking vigorously. The officers stood calm and professional, so when Mitchell pulled out his notebook, Barbara's voice grew louder. Snippets carried across the Yardboard Authority, elected president, protecting standards. Mitchell gestured toward her garage. After more back and forth, Barbara marched over and raised the door herself. There, plain as day, sat my 12 grocery bags in her collapsible cart. A couple of bags looked lighter, clearly rifled through. The officers began photographing everything. Barbara reached for the garage door as if to lower it. Davis stopped it with one hand and said something firm but quiet. Then came the moment everyone would talk about for years. Barbara suddenly grabbed 2 of the bags, yanked them from the cart, and tried dragging them deeper into her garage. Shouting loud enough for the whole cul-de-sac to hear, these were abandoned on Common View property. The association has full authority to remove them. Officer Mitchell caught her arm gently but decisively. His voice carried clearly. "Ma'am, step back. You're under arrest for theft." Barbara lost it completely. "Do you have any idea who I am?" "I'm the president of the Homeowners Association. You cannot arrest me for enforcing our covenants." Her screech hit frequencies that probably set off every dog within a mile radius. As the cuffs went on, front doors up and down the street began opening. Neighbors stepped onto porches and lawns, staring in stunned silence. As Barbara, still in her navy blue official blazer, was walked to the patrol car, she kept ranting the whole way. "This is outrageous. I was defending property values. That man is ruining the neighborhood with his endless grocery deliveries." Officer Davis gathered my bags minus a few obviously missing items and carried them to my door while Mitchell handled Barbara. He helped me bring everything inside, apologizing for the melted ice cream and spoiled vegetables. "We'll need you down at the station tomorrow for a formal statement," he said. Then, with a small smile, "You might also want to clear your schedule for the next HOA meeting. I suspect the leadership roster is about to change." 2 weeks later, Barbara stood in court facing charges of theft and trespassing. Her lawyer argued she had acted within her authority as president. The prosecutor dismantled that in minutes by presenting the actual bylaw, none of which granted the board power to seize personal property. The judge looked particularly unimpressed when Barbara testified that 12 grocery bags represented an aesthetic emergency requiring immediate intervention. She received 80 hours of community service, was ordered to pay $500 in restitution to me, and got 6 months probation. The sweeter justice came at the emergency HOA meeting the following week. In a unanimous vote, Barbara was removed from the board entirely. As the interim president read the results aloud, her face flushed a deep purple that perfectly matched her favorite pen ink. "This is a conspiracy," she shrieked, gathering her purse and storming toward the exit. The room erupted in applause that swallowed her protests. She flung the community center door open so hard the framed HOA mission statement crashed to the floor behind her. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe to HOA Conflicts for more.